How did you make your way into the world of venture, and how did you come to be a GP with IVP most recently?
I had the good fortune, random chance of going to Stanford for college right in the heyday of the internet bubble, so in the late 90s. I came from a background where I didn't have a lot of access to technology or computing devices growing up. Going from that world to the center of Silicon Valley, right as all that craziness was going on, was really eye-opening. And it was really exciting, and it got me to sort of think about three things in terms of the future for myself and I think the world. I thought the U.S. would have opportunities to excel in information technology, biotechnology, and clean technology. And I remember very vividly the first exposure I had to venture capital was a packed auditorium on the engineering side of campus, and John Doerr came on campus to talk about Amazon. It had gone public a few years earlier. He was incredibly passionate, a little uncapped. One side of his shirt was untucked and his shoelaces on his sneakers were untied. But the energy and the belief that Amazon was going to change the world was totally infectious. It turns out he was right. I don't think that the time frame was quite the same, and I don't know that anyone would have predicted they've become what they've become. But that sort of got me a little bit curious as to what his role was in all that. I also recognized that many classmates at Stanford who were incredibly intelligent and talented with respect to software development engineering. And I sort of said, oh man, if I'm competing with that person for a job, I'm really going to be broke. And I got to find a different way to sort of make my way through life. And so there was this idea of being involved with technology, but also potentially finding a way to be in the ecosystem from maybe more of a business perspective. From there, I graduated. I went to Morgan Stanley for a couple of years. Knew I didn't want to be a career investment banker, but thought it was a great place to sort of learn a little bit about business, learn about finance. And actually, one of the most important things I learned about the venture business when I was at Morgan Stanley was the different sort of stages. It's kind of a monolith when you're on the outside. When you start getting closer to it, you realize that there are different stages, different firms, different styles. And so I went to TCV as a later stage firm, had a great experience there, learned a ton, was there for about 7.5 years, and then joined IVP. I guess it was about 11 years ago now. The best decision I ever made was to join the firm. Best professional decision. I'll be very careful to specify that. Best professional decision. 11 years later, here I am.
Man, good clarification there. If your wife listens to this, there's obviously a personal best decision, which is very different, may we add. Totally agree with you. Listen, in terms of it being the best decision, what a year last year was for you. 6 companies you're involved with IPOing. I mean, that's astounding.